Hello everybody, Dren608 here, again with another in the series of sort of how to get the Vietnam main campaign started. We are going to do part of the first summer operations phase, the first turn. I went through the early phases last time. There's sequence of play. So we went through the support phase, which was basically nothing. I did some special operations designations. I did some strategic movement with the allies. And now we're into the operations phase. First thing we're going to do is a designation segment, which basically is going to be the NFL player deciding that they take ops or they hand it to the US player. So I'm going to do a bunch of strategic movements here. Basically, I'm going to get things that are like on this side of the border onto that side of the border. I think I actually start in the south here. So he started like on the border, so he's just going to move in here to kind of surround this isolated capital here. These guys are moving into places where they can threaten to get into multiple zones, just to make the allies have to think. See, I'm just kind of... now, notice as I went by here, if you count, I go 3, because it's 2 for the border and 1 for the road, 6, 7, 8, 2 for jungle, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Notice I didn't have to pay any zones of control here. Number one, it's a battalion. They don't have zones of control for the ARVN. The ARVN battalions like this don't have zones of control. Number two, he's on hold. So hold also means that you don't have any zones of control either. So I had 2 reasons that he didn't have zones of control, but I could just run by him and not have to pay extra for zones of control. So that's what I did there. These guys are going to do something similar here. I think I actually... that. Here I got these guys up here to threaten to come into Antiet or whatever that's named, however you pronounce it. I got the guy off the road. And I moved these guys up to be a little bit more of a threat. Same thing here. Plus they're also on the road to slow down any strategic movement that the allies might do. They do something similar here. I'm trying to get myself into a position where I can move into places and cause pacification losses. Because that's the name of the game with the VC. You want to survive to do pacification losses to the allies. And we moved those guys up, and did I do anything else? Okay, now I'm going to attack some capitals with the VC. So we're going to start off with Truc Yan. Yes, I know I'm probably really butchering the names. I do not know the Vietnamese pronunciation of these names. Other than it's not Hugh, it's Hue. And I think I made that mistake a couple of times calling it Hugh. It's Hue. I know that much. So these 3 VC units over here targeted this hex. I did not do free fire. I did not do air support because I only have 5 air points. And I think there's going to be more. This is an isolated place that I don't think I can defend anyway because I can't get defensive reserves there unless I use air mobile points, which you'll see me talk about. So these guys move up here. Again, no zones of control to worry about. So they move up there. They will attack. There's no interdiction from either side because we didn't have support. I mean, they've got 2 support points, but they're not going to waste it on interdiction because it won't work. They reveal their units. Now we're going to use the automated combat resolution screen. So I'll pop that up for you. And they're using the regional forces, so there are 3 for combat odds, and they are going to use the city modifier, the capital modifier. So 7 for the VC, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 for support, 6, 7. 7 to 3 is 2 to 1. Okay? So we click on the 2 to 1. You see the box over there on the right-hand side moves to show you what your possible results are going to be. That's what's really nice. Now, next up, we have to say -1 for the terrain because I'm this. And you see the box moves down a row. So it's really nice that they have this in here. They didn't used to have that in there, the highlighting thing. But now with this is really, really nice in that you can actually look at the odds and go, holy Toledo, Batman, I'm going to lose, you know, I'm way up here and I'm going to like lose almost always as the attacker. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead and just say, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. And then you click on the first round of combat, and then anything that, like these things here that have special rules on the first round of combat, those will be thrown in. Okay. Combat round 1. Now we have to set the strength columns. The attacker is 5 for his 5 ground strength. So you'll see me click on a thing. So over here, the attacker's on the 4 to 5, 7.5. Defender's on the 1 to 3.5. And that will depend, that will change the numbers over here. Again, they automated this so you don't have to cross-reference everything all the time. And then we hit roll and resolve, and it tells us. The combat roll was a 4, modified to a 5 because they were +1. The attacker loss is 1. The urban restrictions apply. That was that hit that first round in these kind of things. So they get a pursuit roll 0, and then they reset it for a new round attack. So the attacker lost 1. And I believe I went ahead and took the VC replacement loss. And no pursuit bonus. They're not going to return. They're not going to retreat, and the only way to get an air mobile point, and it would be like 1, 2 and a half, 3, 4 and a half. I could get units in there. I only have 2 air mobile points, and I was like, I don't know if I should really be moving American troops in here unless I move the headquarters in to force major losses on him. There's no point to it. And in that case, they might just well say, well, we aren't going to attack this round, and then I've wasted the air mobile point to bring an infant, you know, both air mobile points just to get guys in here. So we decided not to do that and see it happen again. So the VC attack again. They have the 2 to 1 odds. Loss columns. Terrain is -1 still, but it's not round 1. So he's going to get a pursuit die roll this time. He still lost 1, and he's got a pursuit roll of 2. And it's reset. I should have gone down 1. I didn't move him down. I should have moved down 1. Oh well. Yeah, there you go. We'll try to hold on another round for the Arvin just to show you how the pursuit modifiers work. No defensive reinforcements. We should be set it. So now it's 2 to 1 odds. So he starts off with a +2. You can see where he's at. He's in the, you know, he's in this. Watch this little thing over here moving as I'm clicking. We set the 2 loss columns. We go up a row because of that. And then we have to add the pursuit down of 2. Now you see it's way down there. He's guaranteed of getting at least a +1 pursuit modifier, maybe as much as a +5. Okay, because since he didn't move, he gets to add all that plus that pursuit modifier to his things. Actually, he should have added a 3rd one because if he had not included this guy, he could have added a 3rd one. So the 3 to 2 odds, he would end up being at the same column because he would go down 1 for being only at 3 to 2. Because he'd be 4, 5, 6 to 4. He would go down 1 for 3 to 2, and then he'd go up 1 for the extra pursuit point. So it's a net wash, which is why I didn't bother. And then we roll here and we get a 6. Modified. And if you go back, if you look at a 6 modified, it's 0 loss for the attacker, 1 loss for the defender, and you got another +2. So he could keep doing this all day. And, you know, it's about a 50-50 shot. He takes the loss. And it's a 50-50 shot. I take a loss. And as he starts getting up here in higher percent die rolls, it's going to be much harder for me. So, defender lost for cert 2. So I lost down an Arvin. So one thing ineffective guys can do is retreat from being attacked. I decided that it was time to just get out of dodge. So my retreat is my full movement points. So it was 1 for to leave a zone of control, 3 to go across this river, and 1 for the hex. So to leave there was 3, 4, just to get to here. That was 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 3 across this dark blue line there, 1 for here, and 1 for the zone of control. So it's 5 to get to here, and so I can only move 1 more hex, so I move to there, 6. To keep on his +2 pursuit is just to drain and replace points, so we retreat. 1 for cultivated, 3 for water hexide, another 1 to get away from any attacks. I forgot to mention that there's a zone of control there too. Alright, so we run away. Now they did have 2 pursuit points, so they can move somebody in, and what they do is they move in this way to try and keep this as a good formation. It's very hard to move me out because if you attack across the river, you're halved. So you're going to have to use some kind of air power, or going to have to move these guys out, and it'll give me a chance to have everybody run away before they can actually be eliminated by the U.S. Okay, so we put down a captured capital. Hard for the allies to recapture. Then you hide all units again. Okay. And I brought this over here because I'm going to try and do this one. What am I going to do next? Yeah, I brought this over here. So I'm going to attack Tien Ben. No support again. They move in. So here we are. The odds are 2 to 1. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm not on hold, so I'm only 3. So 6 to 3 is 2 to 1 odds. Same column losses as before. Terrain is -1, and then first round of combat, he loses 1, gets a 0. He knows that. He goes ahead and takes his replacement loss. I don't think I can actually have any defensive reinforcements even reach that hex. So he took a loss. He goes back in there, 2 to 1, -1. This time he can get a pursuit result, and he gets a 0. So nothing happened that time. Go another round, 2 to 1, same columns. And he did another roll, modified roll of 3, which ended up being 0, 0, 0, 0. So he's not doing real well. And again, gets a 2 to 1. So we set that again. He takes a 1 and gets a result, pursuit result of 3 this time. So he takes another loss. They get a pursuit of +3. So we stay here again to show you how the pursuit stuff works. And this is what I was talking about. We go through this and we see where am I at. He's always going to get at least a +2. And he could get as many as 2, which would eliminate my guy, essentially. Because I can't afford to take these kind of replacement losses. Time to give up the capital. So I just said, okay, never mind. We checked that. That's one thing nice about this is you can check the attack and see if you really want to defend quickly. Your opponent should let you do that. Otherwise, you can sit there with the charts and do it manually at the game board before you decide whether you're going to retreat or not. And so it's, you know, with this, it's a nice quick automation tool. You can just say, hang on a second, I want to see how bad this attack is. And when you see how bad it is, you go, never mind, I'm running away. Okay? So, again, it's 1 for zone of control. And then jungle is 2, right? Do we have that right? I think jungle's 2. Where's terrain? Jungle's 2 for foot guys, right? So it was 1 to get out of the zone of control, 2 to go into the jungle. So that was 3. And then 4, 5, 6. And I get away. And they did have a pursuit of 3, so they're going to... Yeah. So they move into there. That's... now that is actually 3 movement points to go into that space. Because it is a border hex. That's one of the things you got to be careful of with out here. These are border hexes. You can't really go very far. Three pursuit plus 1 for the VC unit is 4, but it costs 3 to enter the hex, as it is a border hex. I forgot to reveal them in the reference, and then I should be re-hiding them. But as the ref, you can see the values, so I just mark them ARPS complete and say, call it a day. Okay. All right. Next up, we're going to go after this one. This time I allocated 4 air to Anyang. And this is where I'm going to make a mistake in the automation thing. So he moves up his things, and then what he does is he moves the political section over here. That's to try and slow down any reinforcements coming from this stack of U.S. units, unless he uses air mobiles. So, blocks access, VC unit. You shouldn't actually be marked completed till the end of the ops. It will not be revealed as, because it's not attacking. These guys will be. The Allied Air is 4 for 2, not $. Sorry about that. Because I didn't free fire here. So 2 is added to the defense. So a 7. BC attacking 5 defense. 1 unit, 2 regional forces, and 2 air. Because my net is 2 air on the 4. Okay. The tactical loss column is on the 8. You're like, 8? Where'd you get 8 from? Well, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 plus my 2 air. Puts him on the 8 column. So he's actually up another row. There he was before. And with his 1 artillery and my 1 strength point, I'll be on the 1 to 3 column. So this could turn out to be not such a good exchange for him. So, and it's 1-to-1 combat odds. Reason why it's 1-to-1. So he gets a 0 for 1-to-1. It's 1-to-1 because it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm at 5. You needed 7.5 to get to 3-2, which he didn't quite make. The train is a -1 on top of it, so this is going to be a very bad first round for the VC. Why is he up? I don't think we have this. Yeah, I had to reset that. Because I had set that up for that other thing. So that's where we really are. It's combat round going in. He's got a very bad feeling. He rolled a 6, modified to a 5. Urban things kept us from taking any losses, and also he didn't get any pursuit, but he didn't take any losses, so now he's emboldened to try again. Go again. So we each lost 1, and he got a pursuit value of 1. So his replacement, and Arvin will go again at it. And this time he got a 0 result and lost another one. Could be flown in, but roadmen can't quite get there unless we send the armored cavalry only. So what I do is I say, okay, I'm going to do defensive, because I wanted to show this. I'm going to do defensive reinforcements. So I move up here, that's 1. Because armored move along the road at half a movement point each. So that's 1 movement point. So that's 1. I move there, plus 1.5, because it's 1 for the zone of control from this guy and a half a point for the road. And then again, 1.5 there. Okay, so now I'm up to 4 movement points. Now when I move in here, I'm leaving a zone of control, so it's 1 and then half a movement point for the road. I'm at 5.5 total. It'll be 2.5 to get into the capital, so a total of 8 movement points, and I have 10. So I will be able to get into the capital with him. They can choose for an incidental attack and do so trying to get the U.S. and a U.S. replacement point because they're more useful early on. The odds are 1 to 1 because I'm a 2 and he's a 2. And actually, this is one of the places where I mess up. To the incidental attack, the odds are now 1 to 2, which is not true. They're actually 2 to 1. And I actually go back and fix this. So I had it rolling at a 1 to 2, which was incorrect. It was wrong. The odds were 2 to 1 as U.S. is attacking, so actual result is 0, no losses made. Okay. I just went down the chart and figured it out. What I forgot to do, I don't know if I can get it to, where's the play? There it is. So we're going to go back. This is where I was wrong. What I should have done is clicked on this error. So when I was doing the odds, I needed to click. It shouldn't have been a -2, it should have been a +2. So now if I change this to 2 to 1 and add air, what happens? No, it still did the other way. Yeah, it still had me doing it the other way. So it was a 1 minus 1, which it really should have been a 1 plus 2, which would have been a 3 at plus 2. 2 to 1 odds would have been here. Would have been a 5. It should have actually been a defender. Two to 1 U.S. attack, so actual result is 0 zeros, no losses, and unit moves into capital. Okay, so I fixed that, but I forgot to add the air. A couple of times I used it. If you click on this and you take one of these air losses, it will tell you in the result, you lost an air. So VC are going to try one more time as the VC. So now it's 7 to 5 again with 0 pursuit. And they're going to try it one more time. They take another loss and no pursuit. Take a replacement replacement loss, and then no retreats and no. I just say I'm done. It's not going to work, right? Now we're going to go after this place up here. It's totally isolated. Activates those guys. I go ahead and call this. You have to do this in the support designation phase. So I go ahead and call this free fire. And the reason why I do that is if you look on here, 2-6. I control 3 out of 5, which is pretty good. So I might take a loss here for the free fire, but it would hurt me more to get the capital loss on general morale purposes. And I wanted to allocate the last air point. So now I should be a 5 in that hex. I don't know if I calculated the odds right on this one. Value of 4, 1 ground, 1 air, 2 regional, but that's not true. The ground unit is doubled. It should have been 5. I was incorrect. So this is an incorrect battle. So pay attention to what you've got there. A guy on hold is worth 2. The regional forces is worth 2, and then I threw in an air point. So that was something I didn't do. VC have 10, 8 ground, and 5 support. So it still would have been a 2-to-1 because he has 10 and I have 5. So it still would have been a 2-to-1 odds. The attackers are on the 8 to 13 because you add 1 air to him. He's on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the defenders, I'm 1 plus 2 artillery, puts me on the 3. Next time when he comes after me, he'll be able to add 3 air or 3 support to my 1, so I'll go up to the 4 column and be more likely to lose the capital. So I'll probably have to do something about that in the later turns. Okay. Where are we at? What's my time? Yeah, we're coming up on a break. I think I'm going to... So we rolled, he got a 1, we each lost 1, and he got a 0. So we're going to go in it again. Since the capital won't be canceling the pursuit this round, we use the countryside for -2 for forested hills. Every round you can choose the terrain you use in the hex, but if you're in the city, to get that negation of the pursuit modifier in the capital, you have to call for the capital on that first round. So that's what I did. That means he's going to get a pursuit of 0, no matter what he rolls. The next round, he's going to get a pursuit modifier. So instead of taking the -1 for the capital, I take the -2 for the forested hills. Okay? I should have this up. So I had clicked on the forested hills down here. So again, 1 each, and he gets a pursuit of 1. So we do that, and they're going to do it again. And they got to add the pursuit and the terrain. Their modified die roll was a 3. They took a loss and 0 pursuit again. I will lose the 2 strength unit and get 1 replacement point back and stop the combat, as the Arvin are just going to be there until I can attack him with extra armor or extra support next turn. And so they give their ops to the USA. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, and then we're going to do 2 or 3 USA ops. You know something? I think I'm just going to go long. All right, so we're going to go. You say are going to op in 4th Corps. This is the first op, is right here. Okay, we activate the 7th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, 2 Marine battalions, and their regimental headquarters. Okay. I roll for Arvin Rangers. I can get 1. I'm going to go ahead and get one for illustration purposes. Normally you wouldn't bother because he'll just get away, which you'll see. So I only have one hex to put them in, so I put them there. There's no support that can reach that hex like airplanes. The cruiser's not got enough range. So yeah, that all should have been set to 0, which I was just correcting. So I move this guy 1, 2, 3, and then 4 for the road, 5, 6 for the patrol. So he stops there. That's 6 movement points to get there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually 6, not 5. This guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I'm not moving out of the zones of control. And the Rangers go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I probably shouldn't have done it this way. What I should have done is I should have moved one of these 2 units should be in that hex. That was a mistake on my part. So just to show you how tactical this can get sometimes. Now the headquarters moves, that's 1 movement point, and then a half a movement point plus 2 and a half. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4 to get to here. It's not add 1, it's add 2. I was wrong. It should be 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And by that count, I actually did that incorrectly. He should not be there. Because it's 1 and a half plus 2 and a half is 4, plus a half would be 4 and a half, 5, 6 and a half, but you can't get there. So that was an illegal move by me. I could have used the air mobile point to get him there, but that was the whole point. No free fire, this is on the border, and when you declare both this one and this one, and maybe even this one, just to make sure I can free fire wherever he goes. We put 6 points of my artillery into interdiction, which is 3 firepower for a +1. Because it's halved for non-free fire. It's a +1 interdiction. I couldn't see where that went, where they put that. I still have 8 plus 2, so I have basically 5 points coming in. I was trying to see if there was a chance that you could set like the terrain or whatever. Anyway, the first alert die roll was a 1. Terrain etc. before rolling. So initial was a 1, plus 3 for Marsh, and 1 for Arvin Ranger is a net of 5 movement points. So you'll see him go there. That is 1 for zone of control, 1 for interdiction, so that's 2, and 3 to move into the hex, that's 3. And then he moves to there for 4, which is the total he had, because he doesn't want to be adjacent to any units. Yes, he's on a road, but at least he's not adjacent to any units. And then he has to get marked ops complete. And there are no units to attack, so the op ends. And so we just delete all that stuff. And they made me expend my armored, all my artillery and a couple of guys, and got absolutely nothing. And then the Rangers do not have, this is annoying, they do not have return to the box. They only have move to dead. They do not have, in the old game they had a click on it, and it would return it to the Ranger holding box. We do not have that here. So that's a little bit odd. So I had to mess around with this off board here. I had to mess with this. It doesn't even sit in the box quite correctly. I was a little annoyed that it wouldn't assign them to the box. Because that was one thing we always had before, is you could just right click on the Ranger and say, send him back to the box. And you'd know you'd always have him back there. Here you actually have to move him yourself. So keep that in heaven. And then just kind of commenting on what happened here. A lot of times you'll move the VC, you want to eliminate him, but at least you move him off of a hex where you don't want him to be. Okay. Usually work out well. You need more firepower, interjection, a bit more unit density. VC units. Now we're going to try a security on. I free fire in 2 provinces. I free fire in Angang and Fudin. Fongdian. Now, one of the reasons why you can do this, if you look at 412, I have 8 out of 12, so the -2 might not hurt me so bad. And then in Angang, which is 410, I have 8 out of 12, and in Fong, I only have 1 here, so I'm probably not going to get that back anytime soon. So I might as well just go ahead and free fire it and try and kill this unit. And then here I have enough population that the free fire might not hurt me too bad. So especially if I can eliminate a unit or 2 over the next couple turns. Okay. So that's what we do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 infantry units and the artillery unit here. And they move for 0 movement points down the road, and then they're moving into this hex here. I left this open so you could see what I was doing. They pay 1 to end of the enemy. They pay 1 movement point to move out of here to attack him. And then what they're going to do is they're going to attack him at ridiculously high odds. We have 13 to 1 because we have 3, 7, and 8. Actually 15 to 1. So it's a 5 to 1 loss column. 7 USA attackers. And it's 9 for the VC. So I'm going to be on this row, and he's going to be on that row when I do it. So it's 5 to 1 odds, so we're down there. Defender's on the 8 to 13 because he's adding 8 firepower to his 1 strength. And I'm on the 4 to 7 because I have 7 ground strength. And we roll. Terrain modifier is 0 because he's in cultivated. And we roll. I rolled a 1, modified to a 6 because I'm +5. Defender loss is 2. Pursuit results 2. Pursuit doesn't matter because it's security. I wish they would have had, they really should have a button on here like first round, and also should be like a button for security op because you don't get any pursuit bonuses with security ops. But that's beside the point. So I rolled a 1. I did a defender loss 2. He can't lose 2 replacement points because he only has 1 strength point. You can never only lose up to your ground strength. So he's just eliminated. And we just send him. I unactivated him and then sent him off to the force pool. Did I put him in the... Did I mess up something here? I don't understand. That's weird. Okay. I'm not sure how that works. I'm going to have to ask somebody. I'm going to have to tinker with that. All right, so we're going to continue our op. That was 1 movement point to go take that guy out. And we're going to come back up here. And now we're here, so it was 1 movement point to here. None to here. 2 movement points. 3 movement points. And then it's going to be 4 movement points to go into here. Okay. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. We're going to attack this guy here. Again, 15 to 2, so 5 to 1. Again, attacker's on the 7 column, and the defender's on the 10 column because of firepower. Defender, I modified a 3, rolled by +5 is an 8, so he takes 2. Again, no pursuit, actually. He takes 2 losses. I took none. He could try to take the points, but he's only got 6 here, I think. Did I take the points here, or did I? I don't remember what I did. Two points every round seems like a bad idea. We'll give the US a win here as replacement point is very low, and I have other places that may need it. May need them, so I just say never mind. And I'm basically resetting his stuff and then throwing him in the eliminated. It says it returned to force pool and it's in eliminated. I don't, is it really in the force pool? I don't understand. So I've actually knocked out 3 VC units. Okay. Well, I'm there and I still have 2 movement points left, so I'm going to go 1, 2. That gets us through the 6 movement points that the headquarters has. This time, because this guy actually has an artillery, I'm on the 8 column too. So we're all both on the same row. It's a defender loss 1. They take a replacement loss. Because the support point on a VC unit's not very common, so he's just going to run away. So that's 2 to leave a zone of control and 3 to go into the countryside. And then 4, 5. Just so it was 3, 4, 5, 6. He just kind of runs away. So this US unit can't move because he's got 0 movement points left. But I still had some movement points on this guy, so I went ahead and moved him 1, 2 to there, and we ended our op there. So now the headquarters is here, supported by this ground unit to protect itself. This guy's kind of on his own. The artillery can support this capital. VC are probably just going to run away from here and say, okay, we'll go somewhere else. Okay. Yeah, I still need to move the NVA out here on the trail. And I think that's all I do. All right, so what I will do is I will be playing, I am actually going to go through, I went through and just kind of, not real hard thinking, but just sort of like a what would they try to do and what would the Allies try to counter with kind of thing. And I ran through a whole bunch of ops for the VC and the Western Allies. Lucky die rolls by the Allies. They managed to get a really lucky first round die roll. When I got done moving, I moved these guys like up here to threaten to run into clear terrain or something. I just moved them up here into the horrible terrain up here. And then I had the end of the first turn, I had these guys here. These guys moved over here. Turn 2, I did an op against a random unit, which turned out to be the VC regiment here. And I got like the best die roll on the first die roll. It was like 0 losses for me and a +1 pursuit and his alert die roll was a 1, so he couldn't actually get away and all this kind of stuff. It was like a comedy. It was like a perfect storm for Allied Op. And basically I ended up forcing it to break down and lose its regiment, one of its brigade, what are these things? Battalions, for losses. And then the other 2 retreated, but with the pursuit modifier I had, the U.S. could pursue them, and I actually ended up eliminating all 3 battalions that it broke down into. And you'll see that at the end of the game. That was a very interesting one. I didn't think to turn on the vlog for that. I really should have. Would have been an interesting thing to do. And then, of course, the VCA tried to, take some capitals here and stuff, and didn't really succeed all that well. But they've managed to get me to play a couple free fires, which are going to be important. They have a couple captured capitals here. I think I managed to get this one. I think I get to 3 captured capitals by taking out this one. I think I finally got that one to fall. And then the rest of it, I just kind of lined things up to take. This one I don't think fell. I don't know. We'll look at the map right before I do the seasonal interface to kind of overview some of the stuff I did and where things ended up moving and things like that. Again, it was not a serious attempt at playthrough. All right. So there you have it. There's some ops. I showed you some VC ops. I showed you 2 of the more important ops for allies is this search and destroy and the security op, which you notice the security op was far more successful than the search and destroy. Sometimes that's the way it works. That's one of the reasons why you try to see the VC not on the roads. Unless they've just got there because they captured a capital or something. But the VC tried to not be on the roads because it's very unhealthy for them. Stacks of U.S. units with the headquarters just tend to annihilate them, which you saw happen here. I knocked out 2 units and made a 3rd one run away and made him take a replacement loss. So, that's one of the reasons why things like this guy's in danger here. He wants to get away from that space as fast as possible. Right? Okay. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. If you really like to see, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notify bell. Notify and upload videos and or schedule streams. And I'm Gen608. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.